Lindsay from Be Gritty Horsemanship. We're here with our favorite vet tech, Michelle, today. So what are we doing today, Michelle?
So today we are going to take a look at a fecal sample. It's very exciting sounding, I know.
Why would I want to look at a fecal sample?
So you're going to want to look at a fecal sample at least twice a year, no matter what condition your horse is in. That just gives us an idea of what's going on in their system internally, what's going on in their gut. If you have a horse that's having problems putting on weight, it's usually imperative that we actually get a fecal sample. Parasites are the #1 cause, usually, of a thin, skinny horse.
So we're taking fecal sample for parasites, worms, things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
So now I know a lot of people probably just blanket worm their horse in a rotation. What pros and cons?
So pros, hey, you're out there, you're deworming your horse. Rock on. We love hearing that. Cons, you might use a product that's more geared towards one type of parasite, and your horse might actually be inundated with the other type of parasite. So it's always best to get us a sample, let us go through it, and see which medication is going to be best for your horse.
Perfect. All right, so let's walk us through. We have to set up the sample first, right?
We have to set up the sample. So I guess first is you want to go about collecting a fecal sample from your horse. I love the enthusiasm of those people that go and grab that gallon-sized Ziploc baggie. It's great, rock on. A for effort, we need this much. So snack size Ziploc baggie will do you every time. I truthfully just need enough that's going to go in the bottom of that container right there. So even this is a little too much, but we'd rather have too much than not enough. So if you want to give us a gallon size, bring it on.
So is there like a, if I'm picking a sample, do I want it, is fresh the best option?
Yes, ma'am. Preferably as soon as it hits the ground and is still steaming, that's the sample we want. If it's even a couple hours old, those parasites have already started to die. So the fresher, the better. If it's going to be any length of time between collecting the sample and getting it to your vet, that's okay. Take that Ziploc baggie or Tupperware container, whatever you have that's going to be airtight, get all the air out of there and just stick it in the fridge. You want to put it in the fridge though and not the freezer. The freezer, it's going to kill everything. We're not going to be able to see anything.
Okay, cool. All right,
So I have my sample, I have my collection cup here, and I have my fecal sol. So fecal sol is a mix of sodium nitrate, and this is actually what is going to help all of the parasite eggs float to the top of this cup right here. So I need one more thing that I forgot to grab, and that's cover slip right here. So what we do is we take our sodium nitrate, our fecal float solution, and I'm just going to pour a little bit in that cup. I want to pour enough where I'm just covering about that much, so maybe the bottom third of that cup. Take my sample and get a nice glob on there. I'm going to take that and into the cup it goes. Just like that, so you see a little dabble, do you? This then goes in here. Twist it. I want to secure it. I don't want to see any light or any space between the top of that green cap and this white one. I want to cover it, give it a little shake to mix that sample up with the fecal sol, and then we're going to put more in. So this is where you're going to do yourself an injustice if you take this and you just squirt it on in there. That's going to create bubbles. Bubbles are not our friend under the microscope. I like to take it at a side, at an angle rather, and kind of squeeze it in slow and gently. And that gets me some bubbles, but that's okay. I can get rid of those. And I want to create what's called a meniscus. So if we get down here like this, you can actually kind of see it's rounded at the top right there. That's our meniscus. That's what we want to create. And that way, all of those parasite eggs are going to rise up to the top. That's what this solution does right here. And that's what's going to collect on our microscope cover slide. That's what we want to see. So I have a little bit of bubbles up there, and that's okay. But I really don't want them under the microscope. You have a couple different options. Take the corner of your cover slip, you can pop them, or all of the eggs haven't floated to the top just yet. So I have a little bit of time where I can take this and just gently get those bubbles off. But I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to get rid of the eggs. And then I put that cover slip on there and we wait for 10 minutes. It has to sit for 10 minutes. That allows this to kind of help all those eggs float up to the top. At the end of 10 minutes, all the eggs that I'm going to need to see are going to be at the top of that cover slip.
All right, so we'll wait 10 minutes.
So now we wait 10 minutes. So these are some of the internal parasites that we're looking for when we're dealing with horses. Other species, they have their own versions of parasites. Something that they all share in common is going to be the tapeworm. No matter what species, you're always going to be on the lookout for this little guy. In horses, we're mainly looking for tapeworms and then the 2 versions of strongyles. I'm obviously going to keep my eye out for all of them, but the other thing I'm going to keep my eye on is if I see any ascarids. An ascarid in a younger horse isn't necessarily a bad thing. One in an older horse can actually be a sign that their immune system isn't able to get rid of the parasites that it should. So an ascarid, just one, I'll bring it to the attention of the vet. We might just see if we repeat the fecal sample and see any more. 2 to 3 ascarids. We're going to go a little bit more in depth into that horse, figure out why they're not really able to get rid of that one particular parasite. But mainly I'm on the lookout for strongyles 1, strongyles 2, and our arch enemy, the tapeworm. So what I've done is I have taken that microscope cover slip off of the fecal container, and I have put it onto a microscope cover slide, or microscope slide rather. So now I'm just getting it in focus. Remember that everything on a microscope is reversed. So if you're looking at the upper right corner, what you're seeing is going to be the lower left corner. So there's our corner. I always start in a corner, and now you go zigzag up and down the slide, covering every little bit of it. All right, let's go for it. So air bubbles every now and then can work in your favor. Sometimes they will work as a magnifying glass. Unfortunately, you do want to get them out if you can. That right there is nothing to be concerned about. It's just a little bit of some previously chewed food. We don't have any worming history on this horse, so we might find a whole lot of stuff, we might find nothing. And more previously digested food, previously chewed food. That right there in the middle is a strongyle. Make a note that we found one of those, and we keep on going. And there's another one. And another one. And yesterday's grass. I always like to pause in messes like that. There might be some tapeworms hiding in there, but I'm not seeing any. So I think I saw something down here. Nope. That is just yesterday's grain. So let's see, we got tapeworm there. And some bubbles. There's another strongyle. And so in addition to knowing what you have to look for, you also have to know what to not see. So things like that mess there, you just have to kind of know that those are just artifacts and keep on trucking. Some tapeworm eggs look like air bubbles. Those are all just air bubbles. But there's a tapeworm egg. There's another tapeworm egg right there in the center. And another one hiding in that bit of debris right there. And there's 2 more. And another one hiding next to that big air bubble. There's another strongyle. We don't necessarily differentiate between strongyle 1 and strongyle 2. They get counted together.
Gotcha.
So that one looks a little bit more like a strongyle 1, but it's just going to get counted as a strongyle.
Gotcha.
That right there looks like an ascarid, right there in the center. So I'm actually just going to make a note of that.
Gotcha.
And we have no worming history on this horse, so no idea if they have ever been wormed before. That in the center there, just down and to the right of that air bubble, is a perfect example of a tapeworm egg hiding like an air bubble.
Gotcha.
Sneaky little buggers. And there's another strongyle. And tapeworm. Every now and then you'll see a parasite coming out of its egg. If you see that under the microscope, it's okay. It gets counted as an egg. There's a tapeworm egg. You just want to advise the client that they should probably deworm sooner rather than later. That's just a piece of hay going up right there. If you see a lot of undigested food, you might want to call in the dentist. Another strongyle. And there's 3 tapeworm eggs right there masquerading as air bubbles. And there's another one of our ascarid friends. So that makes 2 in this sample. These right here are just crystals that are forming from the fecal float solution. It does that when it gets a little dry, but we're almost done. Alright, one last pass. Sometimes they like to congregate like that air bubble right there around the edges of the slides. Alright, and I do believe we got our count and one last strongyle. And we're done. Alright, so we finished our fecal float exam, and even though we did see a number of tapeworm eggs and some strongyles and 2 ascarids, the sample is technically negative. A negative sample just means that I did not see upwards of 200 plus parasite eggs. So we add the 2 counts together. The strongyle count for this one was 13, the tapeworm count for this one was 23. Added together, they still don't equal 100, much less 200. So this fecal was negative. However, I am still going to recommend that she deworm her horse. with no deworming history on this horse and a tapeworm count of 23, I still would like to see the horse dewormed. This time of year, we try to advise our clients to deworm with Quest Plus. The plus in Quest Plus stands for a drug called praziquantel, which has a great efficacy against tapeworms. So that's why we recommended it this time of year, even for a low count fecal exam. The ascarids I will bring to Dr. Harrison's attention, and he will decide if the 2 that we saw is enough to treat the horse, or if maybe we should do another fecal sample in maybe about 6 to 8 weeks.